guys, welcome to this latest episode of the show. As you already know, we subscribe to the channel, like the videos, post some comments, let us know what you think. Thank you again for your support. We talking about the NBA Conference Finals today, the Western and the Eastern Conference Finals, and also the news around the league. We're gonna start with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander getting his second MVP, consecutive MVP of the regular season, ahead of Nikola Jokic and Victor Wembanyama. I do believe that Wemby was also deserving of the trophy, but shout out to SGA for getting his second MVP, and it was also deserving. He had an amazing regular season as well. I just had my preference for Wemby, especially for what he brings on the defensive side of the ball as well, and the jump that the Spurs were able to make this season, going from being a non-playoff team to now having a 60-plus win season. But shout out to SGA, very well deserved as well for him. And then we're also talking about some coaching moves that have happened in the NBA. We have Jamal Mosley, who is now joining and going to be coaching the New Orleans Pelicans after leaving, getting fired by the Orlando Magic at the end of the playoffs. Pretty much happy for Jamal Mosley. I believe he did a very good job with the Magic and wasn't deserving of being fired, if you ask me. This is a new opportunity for him with a pretty good group in a tougher conference in the Western Conference, but a pretty good nucleus there that he can continue to develop without necessarily having a lot of pressure, especially because there's a new front office in place, and they're pretty much in a not necessarily rebuild, but retool development phase out there with young guys like Jeremiah Fears, Derek Quinn that they got last year in the draft. They still got Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, DeJounte Murray came back from injuries, Jordan Poole is still out there, and they got some, Yves Missy is still out there also. So I believe that's a good group out there for the Pels, and I'm hoping that Jamal Mosley is going to be able to do a great job out there with them. Obviously, they still got Zion also. I'm not sure if I mentioned him, but yeah. So pretty exciting new start for him. Nothing but the best for him in this new chapter of his life. Yeah, shout out to Jamal Mosley. And Jason Kidd also leaving the Dallas Mavericks. Surprisingly, first major move by the new regime and Masai Ujiri as president of basketball operations out there in Dallas now, deciding to part ways with Jason Kidd after his tenure and getting the Mavericks to the the NBA Finals. This was very surprising, but also understandable in the sense where obviously there was some rumblings that Jason Kidd wanted to get up higher in the organization chart over there in Dallas by wanting a front office role, just like Brad Stevens did at some point with Boston, and obviously he didn't get the position. And then you have a new regime coming in, and then the new president of basketball ops might just want to start fresh with a new coach that he trusts and believes in. But I have no doubt that Jay Kidd is probably going to get another opportunity pretty soon. He's a very good coach in my opinion. And nothing but the best for him, and hopefully he's able to land a new position pretty soon in the NBA. Now we're going to jump to the conference finals that have started. And we're going to start with the Eastern Conference Finals, and the Knicks, in a dramatic fashion, come back from a 22-point deficit with less than 8 minutes in the fourth quarter to beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. What a choke job, what a disaster for the Cleveland Cavaliers, led by Kenny Atkinson and Donovan Mitchell. I'm not sure what the heck happened in the last 7-8 minutes of this game. The game has started pretty well for Cleveland. They were playing through Donovan Mitchell, who was having a great game. also featuring the bigs, and they were really putting a lot of pressure on Karl Anthony Towns from the Knicks, who was struggling against both bigs from Cleveland with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. They had Dean Wade and sometimes Dennis Schroeder, as well as Max Strus guarding Jalen Brunson, which was a lot of size on him and also, affecting him. They were shooting the shots. They had Sam Merrill and Dean Wade and also Max Strus shooting threes again out there. So it was everything was going fine for them. They were pretty much strolling during the game, and all of a sudden, I don't understand why they're now having James Harden guarding Jalen Brunson 1-on-1 for 3-4 straight possessions, where Brunson scores on him and pretty much brings the Knicks back in the game, and also obviously a couple of key shots from Mikal Bridges in the stretch there. And they go, I believe, for an 18-1 run without Kenny Atkinson calling a timeout, and that's just crazy to me if you ask me. That in such a high intensity game, and when the opposing team is going on such a run, that nothing is done, and there was no adjustment made to no longer have James Harden guarding Brunson and getting the other guys back on Brunson. That it was just too easy to get James involved in any pick and roll or screen action and getting Brunson again 1-on-1 on James Harden, which they continue to milk for pretty much the rest of the fourth quarter, but also the overtime. And the unfortunate part of this also is on the other side of the ball offensively, they started going through James Harden, who wasn't having a great night, and went away from Donovan Mitchell. I didn't understand the thought process. They were going through Mitchell for most of the game, and when he was getting doubled was just having those skip passes or basically an entry pass in the middle of the floor, and then whoever was in there was able to either drive to the basket or kick it out for a three, and they just completely went away from that for whatever reason that it is. I'm not sure what was happening, but that was just a crazy turn of events for me, if you ask me. And they definitely blew this lead up, sold this game. They should have won this game, sold this game to the Knicks. And to me, it's basketball malpractice, if you ask me, honestly. Having a 22-point lead with 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and you have a guy like Donovan Mitchell who's having a great game, and you go away from him and then just start going through James Harden, who's chucking threes out there and not making them, and having a bunch of turnovers and stuff. That's ridiculous. And also on offense, at some point they were featuring Brunson and taking advantage of him or whoever he was guarding, which is something that I wanted the Sixers to do with him in the last series, and they haven't. And they completely went away from all these things. I'm not sure why, but hey, especially coming off of a game 7 that they had, and obviously I think Kenny Atkinson did a good job at involving a couple of guys playing a lot of minutes off the bench. You have Strus that played 25 minutes, Sam Merrill played 28, Dennis Schroeder gave them 18 minutes, Keon Ellis gave them 5 minutes, but I believe they should have given more minutes to Dennis Schroeder even, because he was really making some good plays out there, passing the ball around and doing a pretty decent job on Jalen Brunson also. And this is not the first time he's doing it. I've seen him do it last year also when he was still with the Pistons and they played them in the playoffs. So tough blow for the Knicks here. For the Cleveland Cavaliers here. Obviously, great game by Jalen Brunson, who found his rhythm in the fourth quarter and ends the game with 38 points. Great adjustment by Mike Brown, also pulling Josh Hart on the bench for the majority of the fourth quarter and overtime also, and going with Landry Shamet out there, especially because of his shooting, and he had some key 3-point shots out there also. I love that from him. That was a pretty good adjustment, but I think there's more to say about the Cavs here than the Knicks in this comeback from New York here. So it will be interesting to see how Game Two gets played down. If I'm Cleveland, I'm going with the same strategy that they had at the beginning of the game, which is going through Donovan Mitchell, playing through your bigs, basically eliminating Karl Anthony Towns with your double big lineup also out there with Mobley and Jared Allen. If Cat is not efficient offensively, then that means Jalen Brunson has to carry a lot of the load. And you have guys like James Harden, even if he's not really having a great playoff run, but you have guys like him, Spider, Sam Merrill, Max Strus, those shooters out there. Evan Mobley, who could also give you a steady double-double, and so can Jared Allen. I believe they have the tools necessary in terms of size and shooting to be able to beat the Knicks. So they're going to have to go back to that. They're going to have to go back to featuring Brunson on offense, also on defense, also, and taking advantage of the mismatches of whoever is on of whoever he's guarding. And I think they have the ability to win a Game 2 in New York. You have to be able to go steal one out there if you want to win the series. Anyway, so I hope they make the necessary adjustments, and we'll see how it goes in Game 2. The Knicks will need to shoot the ball better from the beginning of the game. They haven't shot the ball pretty well in the beginning of this game, so we'll see how it goes. Shout out to the Knicks, however, for obviously winning this game. This game one, coming back from a 22-point deficit, like I said, that's a mental win also for them. They'll be able to probably get some mental momentum over here also with this victory. So shout out to the Knicks again, and up to the next conference finals, which is in the Western Conference. What a show! What an amazing performance by both teams. I've called it. I've prayed for it, and it happened. San Antonio Spurs facing the Oklahoma City Thunder on MVP night for SGA receiving his trophy, like I was saying earlier. And man, what a great game, which finished in double overtime by these two teams. Victor Wembanyama finishes this game with 41 points, 24 rebounds, 3 blocks, 1 steal. This was an amazing performance by Victor, who once again showed why I also was of the belief that he could have been an MVP in this league. His presence offensively, but more importantly, defensively also, altering shots, making people just forget about trying to get a layup. The impact that this man has on the defensive end of the ball, and the recovery that he makes sometimes when he gets beat on the drive or on the pump fake is just amazing. And it was on display the whole night. Vic was tremendous. Okay, San Antonio was able to do this without De'Aaron Fox, who got an ankle soreness, I believe, and couldn't play this game, and they had to start the rookie Dillon Harper, who also had an amazing game. He had 24 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, but more importantly on his end, 7 steals in this game. And obviously Stefan Castle with a triple-double did what he needed to do. They got some help from Julian Champagny and Devin Vassell, the shooters. Great help also from Keldon Johnson, the 6th man of the year. Carter Bryant also came in and gave them some good minutes, good defense on SGA, who was primarily guarded by Stefan Castle and also Dillon Harper sometimes. But man, this San Antonio team is just they just great to watch, man. They're not afraid of the moment. They're definitely not afraid of OKC. Probably also because they were able to dominate them throughout the regular season and the NBA Cup. And the confidence that these guys play with, the young guys, the wings, and the whole team is pretty much pretty young. They average 22 years old, 22 years of age. But the confidence that Dillon Harper and Stefan Castle play with, it's almost like they've been in this league for like 10 years or whatever. They play with so much confidence, so much trust in one another that it's just amazing to see. And this is the team that is in terms of matchup, they match up the best with OKC because they have big guards, 6'5", 6'6" guards, but also big wings. And then obviously you have Wemby at 7'4", 7'5", towering everything on the defensive end of the floor. So it was a great game from San Antonio. Man, this kid Victor Wembanyama, once again, the shot that Wemby takes, the pull-up three in transition that he takes to get the game to tie the game and send it to overtime, second overtime, just shows you everything you need to know about this kid and the confidence that he has in himself. Coming and pulling up a three-point shot at 7'4", 7'5" from 28 feet like he did and making it in a pretty much make a miss and go home was just amazing. Extreme confidence in himself and his teammates, obviously. And Oklahoma is in trouble, man. OKC is in trouble. Like I said, the Spurs were able to do this without De'Aaron Fox, who's probably going to be back either in Game 2 or maybe because they won Game 1, they let him get some more rest and come back from Game 3 in San Antonio. But they've done this without De'Aaron Fox. They've done this with Stefan having 11 turnovers in this game. I don't think that's going to happen again. They've done this also without having most of the shooters not really having great shooting nights. I see Champagne here, 3 of 11. Devin Vassell, 3 of 9. Dillon Harper, 1 of 7. Stefan 1 of 6. So not a great 3-point shooting night for them. And you know there's going to be one game in this series where a bunch of threes are going to be made by this San Antonio Spurs team. So with all these issues, and more importantly, Alex Caruso was the guy who actually kept this game together for most of the game, coming off the bench with 31 points, 8 threes. And I just don't know if you can rely on Caruso to be that consistent offensively throughout the rest of the series. So without Caruso, they're probably getting blown out of the game. And the issue here is if that is the case, then and SGA, who is really comfortable in the mid-range, is struggling against Wemby, towering the defense, but also the great defense that Stefan is putting on him, then where are you getting your offense from? Jalen Williams came back from injury. I get it. Had a pretty good game also, but you're going to need more production from other guys, and you're going to have to shoot the lights out of the ball if you really want to have a chance against this San Antonio team, if you ask me, especially with Wemby in protecting the paint, like I was saying. So it's really going to be interesting to see the adjustments that OKC has for Game 2. They didn't play Isaiah Harden a lot, also because he's not really a threat from the 3-point line. So, you know, Wemby pretty much stays in the paint and will just dare him to shoot if anything. Chet Holmgren is going to have to be way more aggressive than what I've seen. He was 2 of 7 from the field, 2 of 4 from the 3-point line, finished with 8 points and 8 rebounds. That is not going to cut it. You're the closest thing to Victor Wembanyama on that field in terms of size. You got to take on that challenge. Having Alex Caruso guarding Wemby is not going to cut it, to be honest with you, especially most of the game. So they're going to need more from him. They're going to need more from the shooters, whether it's McCain, Isaiah Joe, that surprisingly didn't get any minutes at all. SGA is going to have to be aggressive. You could see that by the fourth quarter, most of them were now trying to be a little bit more aggressive, having some plays drawn up to kind of keep Wemby off the basket. In some actions out there, or like pretty much setting some hard screens and whatnot. So they're gonna need more of this. They're gonna need to be more aggressive. They're gonna maybe have to take some chances to go at the rim, try to drive to the rim, and hopefully maybe get Wemby to foul and put him in foul trouble and get him off the floor like that. But man, OKC has a lot on the hands right now. They cannot go down 0-2. So Game 2 for me is a must-win game for OKC at home, and I'm expecting them to respond like the champions that they are. But this is going to be a very great series. These kids from San Antonio, like I said, are not afraid of the moment. They do not fear Oklahoma City at all, and they feel like they can take them down. They do believe that this is a great matchup, and I'm excited to see if Foxy is able to come back. And if he is, then it's gonna be a total different ball game again for San Antonio, because now they're gonna have another ball handler who can make shots and shoot the three ball as well, which is something that they've struggled with, which led to Castle having all those turnovers, and Dillon Harper also struggling in some part of the games, because they were the two primary ball handlers for this team, and usually it's a three-man rotation with De'Aaron Fox, who was out for this game, and having Dillon Harper even coming off the bench is such a massive tool for San Antonio and Mitch Johnson. So yeah, OKC is gonna have to come out and punch hard early, because these kids are ready also for the fight. They don't back down. They go blow for blow. They really out there fighting for every possession, whether it's offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, block shots, and great defense. They're ready to match up with you with whatever you're doing, and punch for punch, blow for blow. They're ready for that. So I'm loving this series. I think it's gonna be exciting. I think this is probably your NBA Finals before the moment, if you ask me. Also, and it's gonna be exciting to see what adjustments they make for Game 2. I'm expecting Wemby to be aggressive again, and all these guys to come out with the same desire of winning. Because, like I said, they really believe in the moment, in the time. They do think this is now, and they're going to take it. So it's gonna be interesting to see those Game 2. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys tonight. Take care. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the videos, share them with your community, and I'll see you guys at the next episode. Ciao.